Ladies and gentlemen, let us turn our attention to a figure often overlooked but profoundly symbolic, the unloved woman. Not a single individual, but an archetype, a mirror held to the very nature of love, worth, and the deep paradoxes of human connection. Who is she, this unloved woman? She is not defined by the absence of affection, but by the absence of recognition. She moves through the world as though cloaked in a mist, seen but not truly known. Her laugh is heard, yet her joy is not felt. Her tears are observed, but her pain is not understood. To be unloved is not merely to lack companionship, it is to exist in a state where one's essence goes unappreciated, unacknowledged, and unnoticed. But we must ask, what is love, after all, if not the act of seeing, truly seeing another? It is not the mere exchange of sweet words or the ceremony of devotion. No, love is a recognition. A moment when one soul meets another and whispers, "I know you, for you are as I am." In the absence of this recognition, the unloved woman becomes not invisible, but a projection others impose their fantasies, fears, and expectations upon her. She becomes a ghost in her own life, haunting the rooms where she should reign as queen. Yet, paradoxically, the unloved woman teaches us about love more deeply than any romantic tale. Her isolation asks us to confront the ways in which we limit love, reduce it to transaction or obligation. For in the heart of her unlovedness lies a profound truth: love cannot be earned, demanded, or captured. It can only flow freely and without condition when we abandon the desperate attempt to make ourselves lovable and instead simply be. And here is where the true power of the unloved woman emerges. For in her solitude she is closer to the source of love than those who cling to it for validation. She is forced to meet herself, to sit with her fears, her flaws, and her brilliance, until she understands that love is not something the world bestows upon her, but something she carries within her. The unloved woman, therefore, is not a tragedy, but a revolution. For when she turns her gaze inward, she discovers that she has never been unloved at all. The love she sought was always there, quiet and patient, waiting for her to see it. And when she does, she no longer begs for crumbs from others' tables, she becomes the feast. So let us not pity the unloved woman, but honor her. For she is not merely a reflection of individual sorrow, but a challenge to a world that so often withholds love until it is deemed deserved. She reminds us that love is not something to be earned, but something to be realized, a birthright that comes not from others, but from the boundless depth of our being. And when we understand this, we see that there are no unloved women, no unloved men, no unloved souls, only those who have not yet seen the love that has been within them all along. The unloved woman exists in a paradoxical state, one that is defined not by invisibility, but by the absence of genuine recognition. She moves through the world seen, but not understood, her presence acknowledged, yet her essence ignored. It is not the lack of companionship that defines her plight, but the reduction of her being into roles, expectations, and projections placed upon her by others. She becomes a vessel for what others need her to be: a caretaker, a temptress, a muse, but never the complex, multifaceted person she truly is. To be unloved is not simply to lack affection, but to live in a state of disconnection, where the self is perpetually misinterpreted or disregarded. In this state, every interaction feels hollow, every compliment a reflection of someone else's desires rather than an appreciation of who she is. Her laughter may fill the room, but its depth goes unnoticed. Her silence may speak volumes, but no one listens closely enough to hear. This is the peculiar cruelty of her condition. She exists fully in the world, yet no one truly sees her. This dynamic is not merely personal, but reflects a broader societal tendency to simplify and categorize individuals, particularly women. The unloved woman becomes a projection screen for collective fantasies and fears. She is molded into an archetype, a symbol of desire, rejection, or pity, rather than being allowed to occupy her unique and authentic identity. In this way, her unlovedness is not a failure of her character, but a failure of those around her to engage with her humanity. Her experience reveals the fragile, transactional nature of much of what we call love. Often, love is offered conditionally, based on utility, beauty, or compliance with societal norms. This conditional love is brittle, easily withdrawn when expectations are not met, leaving the recipient to question their worth. For the unloved woman, this dynamic is ever present. She becomes a reflection of the limits others place on their capacity to love, a stark reminder of how often love is wielded as a tool of control rather than as an expression of freedom and connection. In her